For this question, we want to graph the region described by the inequality. We have this inequality, which is negative 2x plus y, is greater than or equal to 7. When we're graphing an inequality in two variables, we're going to do it in two parts, graphing the boundary first. So we'll start with the boundary. And the boundary will be the equation which replaces that inequality symbol with an equal symbol. So that's negative 2x plus y equals 7. And then you need to decide whether you're going to draw the boundary as included or not included. And since this inequality has an equal to in it, that means that our boundary, which is equal, will be included in the solution. And the way we indicate that when we draw it is to draw the boundary with a solid line. So this indicates the boundary is included. If we had an inequality like greater than or less than, where there is no equal to, the boundary wouldn't be included, and we would draw that boundary with a dashed line. So we want to draw this line, negative 2x plus y equals 7, with a solid line. I'll find the x and y intercepts to draw this line, or if you prefer, you can put it in slope-intercept form, which is pretty easy here. You can add 2x and get y equals 2x plus 7. We have a y-intercept of 7 and a slope of 2. But I'm going to proceed with the intercepts. Find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0. That's negative 2x plus 0 equals 7. We'll divide both sides by negative 2, and that's x equals negative 7 over 2. The y-intercept, we're going to let x equal 0, and that's negative 2 times 0 plus y equals 7, and that will give us y equals 7. So normally this wouldn't be an issue with the negative 7 over 2, but some of you will be using technology like my math lab to graph this, and they may not allow for you to graph fractions. So if that's the case, then you should use that slope-intercept form to draw the graph. But if you can do it without technology, then you'll be able to graph using these intercepts. So I'll show you both ways, and you can see that they're the same line. So if you were finding the graph with the intercepts, this negative 7 over 2 would be negative 3.5. And negative 3.5 would be about here. And then a y-intercept of 7 would be here. And you would connect those 2 points. If you were using the slope and the y-intercept, we already have the y-intercept plotted, and I would rise 2 and run 1. And you can see that these 3 points all fall into the same line. So you'll get the same line using either method. Remember, we're drawing this line with a solid line because the boundary is included. And once we've done the boundary, then we're going to do the shading. The shading is the second part of this problem. The second part of graphing an inequality in two variables. And when you do the shading, you're going to choose a test point. Most people like to choose a test point of 0, 0. And you're going to substitute that test point, your test point of 0, 0, into the original inequality that was given. So negative 2x plus y is greater than or equal to 7. So if I substitute that test point into the inequality, I'll have negative 2 times 0 plus 0 is greater than or equal to 7. And that gives me the statement 0 is greater than or equal to 7. And that statement is false. So what that tells me is that my test point of 0, 0 is not a solution to my inequality. And that is an indication that all of the points on this side of the line are not solutions to the inequality. So on this side, we have a false statement. Those ordered pairs are not solutions. The other side of the line will be giving true statements and are solutions to the system. We want to shade the side that are solutions. I'm going to shade this side. And this gives me the set of ordered pairs that are solutions to this inequality. All of the ordered pairs that are shaded in yellow and including the boundary. For this question, it states, together, teammates Pedro and Ricky got 2,679 base hits last season. Pedro has 283 more hits than Ricky. How many hits did each player have? We're going to solve this word problem using a system of equations. First, we want to establish some variables. We have Pedro and Ricky. And we're going to say that for Pedro, his number of base hits is X. And for Ricky, his number of base hits is Y. And then in this first sentence here, it says, together, Pedro and Ricky got 2,679 base hits. So that's going to give us our first equation in the system. Together, or total, or summing, X plus Y will equal 2,679. Together, they got 2,679 base hits. And then we have another sentence over here. Pedro has 283 more hits than Ricky. So that's going to give us another equation. Pedro, which is X, has 283 more than Ricky. So Pedro has more hits than Ricky, 283 more hits than Ricky. So X equals Y plus 283. That gives us our second equation in the system. And now that we have this system of equations, we're going to be able to solve the system using either substitution or elimination to find out how many base hits Pedro has and how many base hits Ricky has. So looking at this system, we write it without all the colors. The system is X plus Y equals 2,679 and X equals Y plus 283. The way that this system is set up, it already has one variable solved for. So I'm leaning towards solving this system with substitution. So I'll take the other side of this equation and substitute it in for x in the other equation. I'm substituting in for x because this equals x. And that will give me the equation y plus 283 plus y equals 2,679. Now I have an equation that only has one variable in it, and I'll be able to solve for that variable. I'll combine like terms, that's 2y plus 283 equals 2,679. I'll subtract 283 on both sides. So let's see, we need to do 2,679 minus 283, and that gives me 2,396. And 2y on the other side. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, giving 1,196. So remember that y represents the number of hits that Ricky has. Let's use a different color. Y represents the number of hits for Ricky. So we have that Ricky has 1,196 base hits. And then I can substitute this value of y into this equation here to get the number of hits Pedro has. That's 1,196 plus 283. And we now know that Pedro had 1,481 base hits last season. So we have Pedro with 1,481 base hits. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.